If you're looking to upgrade the old and worn front factory calipers on your 2007 to 2018 Silverado, well then you might want to consider these affordable replacements from PowerStop. Now these performance front calipers will include a newly refurbished set of floating front calipers, complete with new boots, seals, and hardware, in addition to a sharp black powder coat, all for right around that high $300 price point. Now the PowerStop performance calipers that we have on the table with us here today will be a great choice for truck owners who may be dealing with a faulty or seized factory caliper up front and would prefer something that will add maybe a little bit more function and form over your standard run-of-the-mill OE replacement. Now not only will these options get your front calipers working like new again, but they'll do so in a very attractive way thanks to the sleek black powder coat, which will be a bit more understated when compared to PowerStop's bright red option, which you can also find here on the site for this generation truck. Now the PowerStop calipers do feature a two-piece remanufactured cast iron design here that has been gone through and freshened up using high-quality parts such as new seals, boots, and lubricants before being finished off in this nice heat-resistant black powder coat, which would be far more durable than a traditional paint would be. Now each caliper is pressure tested first before being sent out, and PowerStop does claim that these options will meet or even exceed the performance of the factory calipers, and they're so confident in their product that they're even going to throw a 90-day or 3,000-mile warranty at each set here that are sold in case you run into any issues. Quickly talking price point here, and the PowerStop kit is going to hover in that high $300 area, which does make this a more premium option currently on the site, coming in roughly $100+ more when compared to something comparable from C&L. All right guys, let's talk install here briefly, and obviously those factory front calipers will need to be removed first before getting started with the install. In addition to that, just make sure you have some fresh DOT3 on hand to replenish any brake fluid lost during the installation. Now the site's gonna call this a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you about 3 hours, I would say at most, to complete from start to finish. Obviously you're gonna need to bleed the brake system after the install is complete, which is pretty straightforward stuff. But regardless, now to give you a better idea of how this one might go down in the garage or driveway, let's throw it out to the shop for our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
For this install, you're going to need an impact, a ratchet, a 10mm wrench, an 18, a 19, an 11, a 10mm socket, a caliper hanger, hose clamps, and not shown on screen is a vacuum bleeder and brake grease. Today we're going to be installing brake calipers on our Silverado. Let's get into it. First things first, you're going to want to get a clip removal tool and remove this clip right here. After that, you're going to get a 10mm socket and a ratchet, and you're going to remove this bolt right here. Next, we're going to get an 18mm socket and a ratchet, and we're going to remove these 2 bolts at the back of the caliper bracket. Make sure when you're removing the bottom caliper bracket bolt, you're supporting the caliper so it doesn't fall off. Once we have this loose, we can just hang it over to the side. Next, we're going to take a pair of hose clamps and clamp that brake hose. And then we're going to remove the brake line. So to do this, you're going to need an 11mm socket and a ratchet. We're going to remove this bolt right here. Make sure that you have a bucket or something to catch the brake fluid, because once you undo that, it's going to all come out. After you've taken the caliper off of the car, you're going to get the new one next to the old one, and we're going to transfer the brake pads from the old one to the new one. Now to get these 2 bolts right here off, you're going to need a 19mm socket. It's a 19mm for these, and it's a 19mm for these. Once we have done that, we can take off our brake pads. And we can discard these because the kit comes with new clips. When we put them in, we're going to snap them in like this. After that, we're gonna lubricate the brackets and the backs of the brake pad. Now, when you're installing the brake pads, you're gonna notice one has a squealer. You wanna make sure that's facing down. You're gonna put it in this way. But before we do that, we're gonna get some brake grease. We're gonna put some on the back of each brake caliper, or we're gonna put some on the back of each brake pad. Once we're done with that, we're just gonna take some brake grease, like so. Once we have that greased, we're just gonna slide our brake pads in. Once you've done that, we're gonna take our brake caliper bracket and the 2 old bolts, we're gonna put the brake caliper back on. So you're gonna put the 2 bolts in the back, we're just gonna loosely thread them on. After that, you're gonna get a 19mm socket and a ratchet, and we're gonna tighten these 2 bolts down. After that, we're gonna put our caliper on. So you're gonna take the 2 supplied bolts, the new ones, we're gonna slide the caliper on and loosely thread in these bolts. Next, you're gonna take a 19mm socket and a ratchet, and we're gonna tighten down these 2 bolts. Once you've done that, you're gonna take your brake line bolt, and then you're gonna take the 2 supplied copper washers. We're gonna put 1 washer on the brake line bolt, like that. Then we're gonna take our brake line, put it through there, and then we're gonna take the last washer and put it over the bolt, like that. And once we've done that, we're gonna thread it back on the new caliper. After you've done that, you're gonna take an 11mm socket and a ratchet, and we're gonna tighten this bolt down. And then we're gonna be reinstalling this bracket and these clips, but before we do that, we're gonna wanna remove our brake line clamp. Then once you've done that, we're gonna take a 10mm socket and a ratchet. We're going to put this bolt back on. After you've secured that, you can put back on your clips. Next, we're gonna bleed the brakes, and for this, I'm gonna use a vacuum pump, but you can also just use a wrench to bleed the brakes. So I'm gonna take a 10mm wrench. I'm gonna remove this little bung right here. I'm gonna put my wrench over the nut, and I'm going to loosen it slightly. Once I've done that, I'm going to take my vacuum pump and start building pressure. And then once I don't see any air bubbles in the system, that's when I'll stop. After you've done that, you can do the same thing on the other side. Alrighty, that about wraps up this review and install of the PowerStop Performance front brake calipers in black for a 2007 to 2018 Silverado 1500. Thanks for watching, and remember, for all things F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.